Hey guys, I hope you are all doing really well. Welcome to part 2 on our lesson on songwriting and producing. Okay, so last week we had a look at our foundation for our song. So that was our drums and our bass and our main guitar. Alright, so we had a look at how I wrote the song using just the guitar and along to the drums, and then the bass was added just to make it a bit more full. Okay, so remember guys, that's all about making a really nice foundation so that we can start to add all our other things that make the song a little bit more interesting. So you could actually think about it like this. So the drums and the bass and this guitar, if we were thinking in terms of baking a cake, they would be the sponge, and then the rest of the things here would be the icing and the sprinkling that make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so first things first, will be what we'll look at is some of the guitars that I added that were extra. Okay, so when we record, we don't always need to just add one guitar and that's it. We can add multiple layers of guitar, which is what we have here, and we can just maybe play different types of chords over the section, or different little melodies and things, and it will make it a little bit more interesting. All right, and that's exactly what I've done here, so you guys will get a good look at that. Okay, so the first two things we're going to look at are these two tracks over here, power left and power right. Okay, so the reason I called them power left and power right is because there are specific type of chords I'm playing here called power chords. All right, and the one is going to be on the left and one on the right. Now, in order to be able to hear that, again, guys, you'll need to use headphones so that you can hear it. You'll hear that if you put in headphones, power left will only play through the left speaker and power right will only play through the right speaker. So I'm going to solo that. Let's quickly try it and have a listen. So if you've got headphones on right now, you'll only hear this coming out of your left speaker. And then let's do the right one. That should only be coming out of your right speaker then. Okay, and I'll talk about why we do that a little later on, but there is a very good reason for that, and that actually comes in the mixing stage, which we might talk about as well. Okay, so let's have a listen to what is happening here. I'm going to solo these two, I'm going to let them play together. So they'll be in the left and right speaker. Okay, so now I'm going to add it to my main guitar that we used to write the song with. So what you'll hear is the main guitar is sitting, if you're listening through the headphones again, will be sitting in the middle, and these two guitars will be on the left and right. Okay, so what's happening is they're playing these guitars, the power left and right, are playing the same thing, just in the left and right speaker, as I've mentioned. And then they're playing slightly different rhythms at times. Like the beginning here, they're actually being picked one string at a time. Whereas this guitar is being strummed. Alright, so you can already hear that adds something to the music there. So if we put this together with the rest of our things, let's have a listen to the effect that it has. Alright, if I take them out, I'll put them back in. Alright, so those guitars, what they're doing there is they're just helping to make my song a little fuller and just add a bit of depth to it, if I can put it that way. It's just making it a little bit more full and a bit more interesting. Otherwise, without them, it might be a little empty. It would sound a bit empty. Okay, so if we just have a look at some of the other sections just with those guitars. Same thing in verse 2. Pre-chorus is just building. So you'll hear them building there. Alright, and then if we have a look at our bridge section, let's see what's happening here. So in the bridge, they're not playing at all over here. And there's a good reason for that. They're not playing here because we want it to be empty here. We want it to be low down. So this is called dynamics. That's the difference between louder and softer, and that sort of thing. So you'll hear it's a very relaxed section, this. And here the guitars will come in the power left and right, and they'll help to build into this section over here. Alright, so our song is actually starting to sound really nice now, but I think we can still add one or two other things. Okay, so let's have a look at this track here. So this is actually a keyboard track. I'm going to unsolo that and just play this on its own. So this little keyboard track, let's have a listen to what's happening there. So if you guys are using headphones now, you'll hear the keyboards are actually going from left to right. Alright, and that's just an effect to, again, just add a bit of interest. Okay, so if I add that to the rest of our instruments, let's quickly do that with those guitars and then our main one here. Let's have a listen and see what difference it makes. It's very subtle, but if I take it away, you guys will notice it immediately. I'm going to put it back in. Okay, so that adds a little bit of prettiness to our song. I have no idea how else to describe that. That's how I see it. It just adds a bit of something pretty in there. So let's listen to it in the chorus. Take it away. We add it in again. Okay guys, so you can see we're starting to add layers upon layers in these songs. Now, it's very easy to overdo this, and I've been guilty of that before, but you learn the more you write and the more you produce what to add where and to keep it nice and tasteful. Okay, so that was the keyboards. Now, the last thing that we're going to add is actually the melody, the main melody that plays throughout the song. Now, usually that would be done by a singer, but in this case, it's actually being done by a guitar. So that is going to be this. So this is the melody guitar, and it plays throughout the song, doing different things, different notes. We'll fast forward it to the bridge. Alright. So on its own, it sounds super weird because it doesn't have anything backing it up. So we're going to put all of our instruments together and see what the effect is. So if I take away that melody, let's see what happens. We've lost a lot of the song there because it's the main melody. If we put it back in, way better. Okay guys, so that is the idea with songwriting. What we're doing is, like I said earlier, we're building a cake here. We're adding the foundations with our bass and our drums and our main guitar, and then we're adding the icing and the sprinkling and all of the rest with the other guitars and the keyboards in there. And that just makes your song sound really, really nice when all of these things come together and are added together. So we'll have a quickly have a listen to the bridge. So again, we came down in the bridge. Okay, so remember, we took out some of the instruments. The power left and right are there, or not there, sorry. And the melody is also not there. So the melody is only going to come in later on, in the second half of the bridge. So here comes the melody. Alright, and then you've got a beautiful bridge there. Okay guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this and that you learned a little bit more about songwriting and producing. And hopefully you guys can apply this to your own songs one day, those of you who are aspiring songwriters. Okay guys, have a lovely week. Cheers.